Hi, Emmanuel here with T2S Transform to Succeed. In this video, I'm going to talk about three things. So the first task that we're going to work on in our series on how you can pass easily the Red Hat Certified Systems Admin exam. Number one, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about how you can set your default boot loader. You set it to a multi-user target. That would be the first task. And then the second task, we'll talk about how you can modify the system boot loader and set the timer for 30 seconds. And lastly, we will end talking about how you can configure your system as an NTP client using an example, a sample pool that you see on the screen. So let's now jump into our first task. I'm gonna log into my system here. And remember, when you prepare for Red Hat exam, systems admin, certified system admin exam, you can practice on CentOS, because right now I'm using CentOS. CentOS is an exact replica of Red Hat, and I am using CentOS 9. So I'm gonna clear my screen here. So I clear my screen, and I believe you can see my screen okay there. So that's what we're gonna begin first with our first task, which is to configure the default boot target and set it to multi-user target. What we do, we're gonna use this command system ctl set default. Well, first we're gonna have to verify what we have here. So the default is this one here. So you see here we have the graphical target, and when you have the graphical target, as you see it by its name, it's talking about graphical. You can see the different applications that you have on your system, and when you want to change that to multi-user target, you're gonna use the same command, the system ctl, and then but this time you're gonna use the set default. So you're gonna set the default to multi-user target, because that's the task that we are trying to accomplish here. So you do that and then press enter. You see, so it's gonna ask for authentication required, and that's because we didn't use a sudo. So I'm gonna cancel that, and I'm gonna use the same system, but the same command, but adding sudo ctl, and it's gonna ask you for your user, your password, the password for the root. So you're gonna do that, and this case it didn't ask. Do you know why? Because the student, the account that we're using here belongs to this user, student has been added to the sudoers file, meaning that I made the configuration so that student, every time student runs the command sudo, it will not require student to enter the student's password. So now you see here, so we have done this. See, we have set it to multi-user target. And because this is just this is like an exercise, and what we need to do now is to verify. So let's verify that's been set. So you see, so now we have the multi-user target, and I'll bring it back to what it was before, meaning I'm gonna bring it back to to graphical because that's where I want to keep it. But this is how you answer the question when they ask you to change the default boot target in an exam. So you just do that. And systemctl, so I didn't spell the command right here, it should be ctl, and enter. And it's gonna ask me again for the password, so I'm gonna add sudo again, and that's done. And if you want to verify, what you do, you just do the same command, systemctl get default, and we're back to graphical target. Now we're gonna go to the next task, and our next task, what we do, we will be next task, we will be configuring here. The next task, as you can see, we're going to configure the system bootloader and modify it in a way that the time will be set for 30 seconds. And to do that, we have to go to the etc default grab. So we're gonna have to vi. So I'll just take you to the, first of all, to the et default. When you go to the et default and you ls, you see there are two files here, user add, and there is also grab. So that's the configuration file we need to manipulate here. So I'm gonna go to cd, so I'm gonna vi et default grab. See, this is the file that we want to vi, and then vi vim and sudo are not sudo, nano are editing tools that you use on Linux systems. So I do vi, and then here I'm gonna modify. This is where you go, press enter to modify, to put it to modify, please enter. Okay, so that modify, and then sometimes you may get stuck again here because you may need to use sudo, but let's give it a try and see. So we're gonna set the grab timeout to 30 seconds. So we're gonna focus only on this one here, and then change it, instead of 5 seconds, it's gonna be 30. Then press escape, column, and save. You see, so it's doing this because we cannot edit as a normal user. So to do that we have to elevate our permissions, meaning we use sudo, and sudo would allow us easily to change that. And every time you see the question of modifying the system boot loader, you have to think of grab, grab file. So I'm gonna go there and change it to 30 seconds. So I'm gonna delete that and then change and then escape. I'm gonna save, quit, and now it's done. And every time you do this, the next thing you're gonna do is to use the grab command, grab2 command. So grab2 command make config, grab2 make config command. And what we're doing here, we want to finalize this process by telling grab2 to accept this modification here. So we're gonna apply that config change to that specific file, grab.cfg. So we do that, and then we press enter. You must okay, So you must run it as root. So we're gonna use sudo, and then it's generating a grub configuration file, and this has been applied to the system, to entire system. And now what we do, you have to reboot. So I'm gonna have to reboot. Okay, the system is up, so I need to sign in. And I need to open my terminal here. I can do it now. Okay, system is still rebooting, or kind of like starting. So okay, my terminal is up and running again. And now what we have done, we have configured this file here, and to change it, so we're gonna do default. I just wanna show you what we did. So you're gonna do that. This is to cat to verify. You see, so we changed this to 30 seconds, and then once you do that, you have to use the command grab to, then make config, and that's the command that you use. And then, well, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm gonna stop here. So we have talked about how do you configure the default boot target, set it up to multi-user mode, which is a question that comes a lot in an exam as you prepare to become a Red Hat certified systems admin. And then the other thing that we did was to modify the system bootloader and then set the timer for 30 seconds by configuring the grub configuration file. And next time, in the next video in this series, basically these are hands-on on how to prepare, on how to help you prepare for the exam, for you to become a Red Hat certified system admin. I'm gonna talk about the networking time protocol NTP, and then I'll also talk about the users and groups and group memberships, and how you can create all of those things, and how you can take care of those tasks as a Linux administrator. So that's what I'll be talking about in the next video, and I hope to see you next. God bless. Continue to be good and do good, and I'll see you in the next one.